Hey, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, niggas? It be that nigga MoonMonkey. You know, it's the new year. I've been trying to change up my intro. I ain't trying to be saying it's your boy MoonMonkey, because there's always gonna be that one nigga that's gonna be like, you're not my boy! But we're out here, we're doing the damn thing. E3 is slowly approaching, my niggas, and we got a couple games that potentially will be revealed at this year's E3 by Nintendo. I know we got that Pokemon game that people have been wondering about, Smash Bros, Metroid, at least get like a teaser for that, Bayonetta, that fucking Travis touchdown game, No More Heroes. There's a lot of games, but there's one game in particular that your boy is looking forward to. If you can see by the title of this video, maybe by the thumbnail, well, I'm gonna be talking Fire Emblem for the motherfucking Switch. Now, as anybody have known, I love Fire Emblem. First jumped on a GBA, loved the series ever since, with Sacred Stones to be my first one. I went back, played Binding Blade, played Blazing Sword. I moved on to play Shadow Dragon, Awakening, Fates, both of them. I played Conquest and Birthright, never really bothered with Revelations. Right now I'm midway through Shadows of Valencia. Also, I even played Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance. Not a shameless plug or anything, but I got Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn fully Let's Played on my channel already. Matter of fact, if I had to say myself personally, they would have to be top 5 Let's Plays on my damn channel. But Moon, you only have like 5 Let's Plays on your channel anyway. Nigga, suck my dick. Anyway, I am quite the big Fire Emblem fan. I wouldn't say that I'm the craziest of them, because I haven't bothered to go back and play like the old SNES, NES versions of Fire Emblem or Fire Emblem Heroes. I just cannot be fucked to get into Fire Emblem Heroes at all, so you can dismiss all that bullshit. But I am still a Fire Emblem fan nonetheless. But with all of that said, with all of my hype going into Fire Emblem Switch, I do got some concerns. I know, so shocking. Let's jump in and start right off with, well, presentation. One of the main things that I definitely love from Shadows of Valencia is, well, the voice acting. Not only just the voice acting, I guess just the delivery of it, because they did have voice acting in Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn in their cutscenes. They also had like little quotes and little snippets of dialogue within Awakening and Fates, but they kind of have something fully fleshed out in Shadows of Valencia. I would like to see that brought over to Fire Emblem Switch, which I kind of believe they probably are already doing and implementing, so that's really good. Another thing that I'm really hoping for when it comes to presentation is that they kind of stick with the art style that they presented in Shadows of Valencia. I love that art style. I know that might be just a personal preference for me alone. Some people might like the art style from Awakening Fates. I just find that art style very fitting of the Fire Emblem series. That's just me. Moving on to some more core mechanics of Fire Emblem, I've noticed in Fates and Awakening, and I believe in Shadow Dragon as well, they gave us the ability to create a custom character. Now, I'm not saying custom characters have to be thrown away, trashed, throw it into compact. No, I still like that feature. I just want us to be out of the spotlight. Let the main lord be the main lord. I don't want us, the player, to make their own lord character. Rather be like a side character that help assist the lord on his journey, his or her journey. And while we're still in the same ballpark area of the topic, I want to talk about Fire Emblem Fates in particular. They implemented this really cool feature of choice being a really important part of your journey. Wasn't really much of a choice. It was pretty much you pick yes, I want to go with the Hoshido, or no, fuck the Hoshidons, I want to go with the Norians. I would love it if they played with the decision making a little bit more in this next upcoming Fire Emblem. I want more consequences, more rewards. I want it to definitely affect your whole playstyle experience. Yeah, sure, there's 2 different entirely games depending on your choice, but I wanted choices along the way. I wanted choices where it's like, we make one character live and another character dies, or maybe they present us a level where we have to make a choice in the level itself, where we either have to like save a person being abducted, or we chase after a certain villain guy, and that might lead us into 2 different paths along our journey. So I would love to have deviating paths, almost like Mass Effect, where our choices and decisions made throughout the Fire Emblem journey is affected through our story. Characters die, like I talked about, rewards gained. I just want that kind of just to build up, so it kind of feels like a more personal event, like these are decisions I've made as a warrior, as a tactician throughout this. That's kind of my personal thing. I love it, and especially if they have like a follow-up sequel, That would be dope if they kind of remember your decisions that you made. Like maybe there was like a minor villain that you possibly had the opportunity to either recruit or maybe just fight outright, and maybe you fought the villain outright, and then maybe they come back in the sequel and said, hey, I remember you fucked me up in the last game. I'm angry. I got a chip on my shoulder. Let's get it scrapped. So I want the game to kind of remember your decisions that you made and like the dialogue choices that you've made throughout it. That will definitely be dope. And if we are going to be a tactician custom created character, I would love the game to actually give us the opportunity off the rip to give us the ability to choose what class you want to be. Now, I'll talk about classes later on in the video, but I would love it to give us the ability to choose what class you want to be. Hey, if you want to be a tactician that's an archer, or we want to be a tactician that is a Pegasus Knight, a fucking mage, just pick our classes from the beginning. Now, I'll talk about, like I said, classes later on, but that's pretty much what I want coming off of the whole custom created character portion of Fire Emblem. Moving on to a more core feature that I really hope makes it back in the next Fire Emblem, I want durability to come back. I know they made the decision to remove durability in Fire Emblem Fates. I wasn't really a fan of that. Honestly, that really just led me to have a really big surplus of money. I didn't really have a need to buy more weapons once I got all the essential weapons from my main squad, and it kind of just felt like it took less of the tactician work out of my hand. Fire Emblem's a tactical game, and I felt like managing your resources were like you're managing your weapon's durability, making sure that your inventory is well checked. I felt like that really played into the hand of Fire Emblem, a tactical game of being really careful and conserving your resources as an army. I felt like taking away durability, it just took away one less element of managing your army, so I was not really a fan of that. While we're still on the topics of weapons, I would definitely love for the forging of weapons to be more like how it was in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, where it's pretty much you actually forging a weapon. And I would love if you could probably like use other items to help craft and buff your weapon at hand. I don't know if you probably want to like use your energy drop, so to speak, for your units themselves to raise their attack, or maybe you want to use that energy drop on your weapon itself, and then now your weapon does a little bit more extra damage. Now, of course, you're gonna have to balance it out. Like, would I want to waste my energy drop on a fucking weapon that probably has like 45 durability, or use it on my unit that will probably see that one increase of attack a little more in the long run? That'll be the player's decision. That kind of goes more, I just want more options for the tactical players at hand, you know? If they want to give the strongest boosting weapons to that unit, sure, let them do that. Hell, if they want to put a Sephiroth Rove on it, maybe like increase the durability on it as well, and bring back coins to give like another random effect. I don't know, just to give more power back to the players. You smell me, dog? You smell me? All right, other than that, let's actually finally jump into the classes. Now, one thing I would definitely love to see in Fire Emblem Switch is that they bring back the Druid class. In some of the GBA games, they had this class. It's pretty much a class that wielded dark magic, and for some reason, they kind of done away with it. They brought it back a little bit, I believe, in Fire Emblem. I think the newer Fire Emblems as well. I know in Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, they had I think Peleus, who used dark magic, but I don't think anyone specifically was like a druid and mastered of dark arts. So I want to kind of bring that back and bring back the whole magic triangle where like animal magic being the wind, the fire, the thunder, being strong against light magic being strong against dark magic being strong against animal magic. I would love to see that triangle kind of return. That will definitely help to spice things up. Now, one thing that I would hope that they remove from Fire Emblem Switch, I know, crazy, I've been talking about give the tacticians as much power as possible up till now, but I actually want the pair-up function to be removed. Or, well, not necessarily removed. I feel like the pair-up feature would work better as a skill. Now, let's talk about skills. Now, skills have always been a thing in Fire Emblem as early as Genealogy of the Holy War, but I think they've always kind of been like a background kind of thing, or maybe just like probably like level to weapons maybe, but we haven't really seen the ability to like unequip and equip skills and rearrange skills and reassign skills till as early as I would say probably like Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, and then until going into Awakening and Fates, where we really start to see skills explode and like all these different types of forms of equipping, passing on skills when breeding, and all this other type of weird shit. So skills have definitely evolved, and I expect this new Fire Emblem for Switch to kind of continue down that path of evolution of being able to manage your skills. And of course, there are some skills that are better than others, like I've said before. What seemed to be an issue for me, at least, is once you are able to kind of, class hop between the different classes, changing your classes, acquiring the most skills, you're only able to have 5 skills at the most, but still, you can still have 5 of the most broken snap skills and make a crazy ass character. I feel like Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, they implemented a really good feature known as that skill wheel, and pretty much the skill wheel was a pool of points that each and every one of your units had individually, and each skill that you equipped, they pretty much costed some skill points. And when your skill points are all depleted, well, you couldn't equip any more skills. So obviously, the more broken skills will cost a hell of a lot more points than some of the other skills. That way, you could prevent you from having the most stacked character as possible throughout the game. It's a balancing precaution. And like I said before, I don't want pair up to be an actual feature within the game because honestly, I feel like the pair up mechanic is kind of broken and it honestly takes away some of the, I don't know, the fun of the game. So I feel like if it was more of like a skill more than like a mechanic built into the game, I think that'll be a little better. Speaking of pair-ups, one thing that I do not want to have is, well, the ultimate pair-up, marriage. Get kids the fuck out of here. And while we at it, fan serve to get the fuck out of here.
This is America.
Those are the 2 things I just don't want to deal with the most in next Fire Emblem. I don't mind here and there we have like the characters like Tharja or Camilla that likes to play up their sexuality and shit, but I ain't trying to have no beat set OVAs in this bitch. All that can get the fuck out of here, man. I like how they implemented Kids in Awakening. Cool. They actually implemented it in a nice way. Kids coming back from the future. It kind of makes sense. The characters come together, they make love. Kids pop out the sky like, oh shit, we make that in the future. But in Fire Emblem Fates, I don't know what the fuck they did. You'd be like, yeah man, let's get together. I like you, you like me. Let's get together, get some stat boost. Boom. Out of nowhere. There's no future concept, no nothing. These niggas just have kids and these kids just rapidly evolve like they are some type of homunculus. I ain't trying to deal with that bullshit. The best implementation of kids, I would have to be in Genealogy Holy War. They had the best implementation of including children because you played as the parents in the first half of the game, and I think in the second half of the game, spoiler alert, they did die, and then you have to play as the kids. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's the general concept of Holy War, and I definitely find it a dope concept, not how they implemented it in Fates. If they're gonna add kids, make it be for a purpose. Otherwise, don't blow up the army size with unnecessary units and kids, because not to mention, the kids gonna be stacked either way, taking the 2 best stats or skills from the parents, and we already know how we feel about skills, so hopefully we can kind of, avoid all that bullshit. Most I would probably want is a stat boost. Honestly, all I want is stat increases, but I know there's some people that like that shit, especially if they want to get into like the support dialogue. That's one thing I do like from the Awakening series that they added, because in Fire Emblem, I don't know, Sacred Stones, up to like Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, most of their dialogue shits were kind of generic. It really wasn't tailored towards that specific character. So I really hope that they actually spend a little more time and effort if you want to like get to know the relationship between the 2 characters more with supports. That'll be dope. But I ain't with that extra bullshit with the skinship shit. You gonna miss me with all that bullshit. You understand me? You understand me, though? All right, cool. Now, Intelligent Systems actually did something really smart. They actually implemented something more casual friendly for other audiences. That way, they could actually increase their scope and their, the reach of the possible game that it could appeal to. So with that, they added Phoenix mode, they added casual mode, and they added this really cool mode in Shadows of Valentia called the Mila's Turn Wheel. Honestly, they better not leave that shit out. They better bring this shit back in every Fire Emblem going forward. It's definitely dope. Especially if you make a mistake, you could turn it back. I definitely like the concept. It's not really broken, anything like that. And rather than having to restart the whole chapter for a mistake that you did, I don't know, 3 turns ago, it'll be dope to kind of just wind it back a little bit, adjust your gameplay, and keep going from there. That would be kind of dope. Although I personally will always like to play the classic mode of having like the risk of like losing your units, because honestly, personally, that's kind of like, it raises the stakes a little more. It's like the character might die and I might lose them, so I better make sure I take care of their ass. So that's I kind of like playing with classic mode, but that's just me personally. People like casual mode, they don't want to lose their units, cool, whatever. Now let's actually get into a feature that they really have dabbled a little bit in, but not fully: online. Now, Fire Emblem has mainly been a single-player game, but it has in the past had single-player and multiplayer features. Now, the multiplayer, as most would imagine, put a map, have certain units on one side, certain units on one side, let both players take turns, wiping each other out. Now, while that may sound fun for a while, it will of course get stale, which I believe it did in, what was it, Shadow Dragon? I think Shadow Dragon did have online, and I think it did get stale after a while, after doing the same thing a bunch of times. So one thing I do hope when they bring back online, if they bring back online, is that they give back a variety of mission types. Especially if you play Fire Emblem Conquest, you know Fire Emblem is capable of having different types of mission types, not just route the enemy. Some are hold down a fort for, I don't know, 10 turns, reach a certain destination, escort something. I like the different types of missions where you have to either like clear out the enemies in a certain amount of time, deliver something here, like give the players an objective. Matter of fact, don't tell the other side what the opponent's objective is. Just do your objective and try your best to figure out what the opponent's objective is and stop them from doing that. You know, that'd be kind of dope. Have the opponents trying to achieve their own objective while kind of stifling the other person. So that would definitely be dope if they have that ability to do that. One thing I also would like to do is that if you're online and you have like these generic units, I would like you to have the same ability like you did in a single player, where you're able to like upgrade your units, buff them with stats and everything, equip your units to be, you know, best suited for online. Of course, over time, there'll be a certain meta of certain builds and certain routes that certain armies and people will kind of create for battle online. That'll definitely be dope. I think I'll definitely fuck around with that. If people are out there kind of going for, I don't know, all paladin builds or all mage builds and trying to go out and do random mission objectives online, I will definitely fuck with that. I definitely like that. So I do hope they flesh out online. We can just hope. But I definitely am looking forward to that. But all in all, my niggas, that's pretty much all I would like to see out of Fire Emblem Switch. There's a lot of things that I'm definitely looking forward to, and some things I don't want to see happen. Like, I don't want them to keep on playing up this fucking fan servicey bullshit, but that's personally me. Some people may like it, but worrying. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. I also hope that they give us a lord that doesn't use a sword and has blue hair. I don't know. Give us some nigga like Ephraim that uses a lance every while. Give us a nigga like Hector that uses an axe every time in a while, you know? Give us a purple hero lord. Do something, my nigga. Switch it up, you know? Damn, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, niggas, if you like what you heard here today, like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard here, hit that dislike button. Rumor has it may make you feel good. I don't know. Go ahead and try and see if it does. But anyway, we gonna be here in the same exact place, doing the same exact thing. And what's that? Wait for fucking Fire Emblem Switch to bring his dusty ass out on the fucking market. Shit. All right, we out this bitch. Let's go.